Hello everyone, this is Plankera, and welcome to my universe. Today, I'm going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. So, progress has been generally steady. I'm just trying to line things up with all the changes that I've done in the corners. Because a few days ago, I just arbitrarily decided that I did not like my right turns very much. So I just went ahead and fixed a bunch of stuff on the hair. And so now I am propagating that outwards. So far so good. Right now, what needs to be done is I need to start aligning this lower right turn with the bottom turn. And so that's what I'll be doing today. I was just noticing that some of the hair around here looked a little bit wrinkly, and I didn't like that, so I figured that I'd start with fixing that. Fortunately, it's moving fine. It just, well, like I said, it looked a little bit wrinkly, and I didn't like that very much. So fixing that seemed like an excellent place to start today. And once that's all starting to look okay again, I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the bottom turn. First, we gotta make some stuff pretty. Fortunately, I was actually able to sleep last night, so hopefully that means that things will go well today, and my eyes will just be on point. Okay, yeah, that looks a bit better. Got rid of all the wrinkly parts. And make sure things are lining up here the way I want them to. I actually kind of don't mind this part going a little bit more outward when her head is turning down. I think it looks okay. We'll see if I change my mind when I start digging into the upper right a little bit more. But for now, I think it's okay, so I'll go ahead and move on. Honestly, this lower right turn is looking pretty good, I think. Let's look at it from the diagonal. There might still be some shenanigans here. But I can see why I wanted to get the bottom first. Alright, so I see... I think I see what I need to do here. And thus, I continue my quest for optimal levels of floof. So first things first, I just kind of want to get the big areas in place, which for this particular section of hair is going to be this shadow running all the way down here, the 4 highlights kind of all together, and then there's this clump right here with the black and the highlight, and then this clump right here with just the highlight. Those are the biggest areas, and of course the edge. There's some smaller ones, but those are the ones that I'm paying the most attention to for the time being. The smaller ones can come once those bigger ones are all in place. I do think it's funny how much of a similar approach you can take to rigging as you can with drawing. Just start with some of these big things and then work your way down to the smaller ones. Because if you try to do it all at once, you're just going to get overwhelmed. I still remember being a baby artist and Trying to draw a nice fancy dress. And trying to draw every bit of the patterning, every bit of the lace, and all of those things at the same time as trying to figure out the general shape of the dress. Because I just saw all those things in my head. And I cannot imagine doing something like that now. That just sounds impossible. So much easier when you just get the shape of the dress, and then you draw the patterns on it, and then you draw the lace on it, or that can be reversed, of course, but point being, one thing at a time. Or there will be suffering. So much suffering. So let's see here. Right now, this is kind of an interesting spot because I'm using the lower right here to kind of gauge how things should be going. But I also really need to make sure that it lines up well with just my default center. And that's easier said than done, considering that I am looking to make it nice and floofy. Gotta have soft-looking hair. And for that, I do think that it's okay for the highlights to be turning a little bit differently, and for certain parts of these, like shadows, to be turned slightly differently. Make it look like you're seeing a little bit more of the top of her head rather than the side like it is here. But still, that is very much easier said than done. I think the size of the highlights are good here. At the very least, they match up with the lower right. So now I just kind of need to get everything to match up here. Because that's not happening yet. I actually really don't like how the highlights are moving yet. Mostly up here. I think right here, they actually look pretty okay. And I think part of that may be some disagreements around the tunnel. So let's try to work those out too. It's funny, I talk about being in big picture mode, and then I'm just going in and being like, this particular detail right here needs to be fixed before I can do anything else. But this area I feel like is a little bit different. Just because this is one of those areas that shows how her head is turning very, very well. And if I get that looking right, then how everything moves around it actually matters a lot. And so getting it to look right can give me a pretty good clue as to where everything else should be. In theory. Always in theory. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. I was actually noticing when I was scrolling around my turns this morning that if you look at the default here, inside of this little area here, the tunnel, you can see that there's a light area here, a light area here, and then if I go to some of my other turns, a dark area over here, and a dark area over here. And how I move those around show the general shapes of everything pretty well. And how everything is turning. And I think it's cool. So, I will probably revisit that shape quite a lot throughout all of these edits that I'm making. But considering that I already plan to do a couple of edits on the left turns, I figure that I will just fix all of that there when the time comes. So I'm not going to worry about it right now. But since I'm already working on the bottom turn, I might as well go ahead and work on that a little bit right here. And I'm hoping that if I get it right, it'll make some of the curves that I want to pull off on this part of the hair over here a little bit easier to do. Or maybe I'm just coping, I don't know. But it should look better either way. Getting this part into a good spot. Okay, yeah, I think that's looking pretty cool, and it's giving me some ideas on how to make everything else around here a little bit better. That is always nice. See, this has been my approach to problems in life in general, of just, sometimes I see something and I don't know exactly what's wrong, or even if I do, I don't always know how to fix it or what to do about it. So just start with what you can do. Start with what you do know. And then sometimes the other things will become clear. At the very least, it can help. Sometimes things aren't always that convenient, but it can help. At the very least, it can't hurt. Okay. Yeah, I think that's looking a little bit better there. So now I can go back to my quest for optimal levels of floof here. So let's go. It's kind of interesting of just how different each of these angles are. Because it's like here when I kind of want the hair to expand outward a little bit. So it looks like we see a little bit more of the top of the head, but it just doesn't quite jive with how I have the turn up here. Like, watch this dark shadow closely, and it looks like it kind of just moves upward. So it doesn't look quite right yet, and it makes it look more like, for whatever reason, her head is expanding right here rather than turning. And, well, that's just no good at all. So, gotta figure out a way to do that. But it's kind of interesting, because at this angle I do something similar, and I don't get that same kind of expanding effect at all. So, I don't know, art is weird. I guess I get it a little bit just right here. I guess I'll fix it while I'm here. Where I see maybe one spot that could be a little bit better. Yeah, I guess that's a little bit better. Maybe it'll help when I go back over here. I'm not sure yet. But at the very least, a little bit of progress is always welcome. Okay, so back to trying to figure out all this. I'm actually a little bit surprised by how far off things seem to be. I swear, every time I just keep going around in circles, just trying to make these turns a little bit more convincing. I just see something and I'm like, huh. Huh. How did I not notice that before? But here we are. Technically speaking, I think it makes sense, because as I feel this with drawing as well, and that is each little piece starts looking better. Each little mistake stands out a little bit more. Because everything else looks so much nicer. Like everything else is out there, making sense, looking good. And then something that was okay before, because even though it wasn't quite right, there were things around it that were just way more wrong. And so it was able to blend in and hide. Be sneaky. So we'll see how many times I want to go in circles, fixing up head turns. I don't know how that's going to work out yet. I don't think it matters. I'm just doing the thing. But the only thing in the back of my mind is just that I would like to finish this someday, so I guess I shouldn't be too much of a perfectionist. Gotta be careful. Rigging is dangerous. Can just do a little bit more to make things look a little bit nicer. Kind of reminds me of a post I saw on Twitter once. Occasionally, I like to go look at live 2D showcases on YouTube and Twitter. And in this case, it wasn't a showcase, it was just a highlight of a small piece of one. And they mentioned that they put 3D effects on the fangs inside of this character's mouth. So basically a little bit of extra shadow. So that when the head turned, you could see some of the sides of the teeth. And her description of that was, I'm not sure why I did this, but it looks pretty cool. More or less. That was definitely not an exact quote, but that's how I feel about things sometimes. It did look quite good, though. So personally, I think it was worth it. I do feel like I'm getting somewhere here, though. I can already tell this is going to be somewhat annoying to line up with the right, though. As you can see, if you look around the highlights area over here, that kind of expansion that I was mentioning before, it's happening. Like, I think it looks great from here to here. I even think it looks pretty good from here to here. I might be able to fix just a couple of things. But from here to here, Looks like there's something growing under her forehead, and it's very disconcerting. So I think today is going to be figuring that out. Try to get any mysterious growths to disappear. Then I just keep coming in and seeing a thing here and there that I think I could make a little bit better here too. Told you, rigging rabbit holes are dangerous. Just keep you making small tweaks forever and ever. Hello there, Yudgy Kitty. How are you doing today? I'm doing alright, just putting together all of the hair. Getting things to line up the way that I want them to. Have you done anything fun recently? All right. Well, hopefully this will be a nice thing to study to, or a nice thing to help you sleep, depending on which of those things you're trying to do for the moment. Sometimes it can be nice to just kind of unwind with some nice music. Oh, congrats! That's a lot of questions. Okay. Let's see here. Are these lining up a little bit better now? Yeah, I see considerably less awkward growth there. So I think that solved a lot of the issues. Just need to defloof this little part of the highlight just a little bit there. He was sticking out a bit more than he should. Okay. Good, I think I'm finally getting things lined up here. Took me a couple of tries, but I think I got it. And I think we're approaching optimal levels of floofiness. Been trying to optimize the floofiness in this area for a little while now, and I think it's getting there. It's always very nice. And it's also very nice because this is up by the roots of her hair, so it means when it comes time to add physics, I'm not going to have to move this very much, if at all. So I can trust it. I can trust that this little bit of hair sitting on top here will cover up this area, so I can stretch it out a little bit more if I need to. So I still think about physics a lot. I'm still looking for that day that I finally get to go in and really bring this hair to life. Alright, I think that's looking pretty good, actually. The highlights get just a little bit longer, which I think suits the hair here. Let's see, I want the edge of this little highlight here to be a little bit higher up, I think. Just kind of like this. But it's nice, because I feel like everything is like 90% there, and a lot of it is just minor cleanup at this point. And when I looked at it this morning, I was just like, oh man, I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna do this. But there we go, just one step at a time, and suddenly it's all working out. Actually, I do think that this highlight might be getting just a little bit too long there. If I need to adjust it on the other turns, that's fine. I think it doesn't quite look good here, so. When trying to line things up, there must always be some kind of compromise. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. At least the top part. The bottom part still has some wiggle to it. But top part, I'm pretty happy with. So now I guess I'll start moving into the bottom part. Let's go. Okay, so I'm not quite sure how I want this to be angled yet, so I'm not gonna get it too clean. Just kind of enough to hopefully let me see what I'm doing and how things look. Whether or not the angle of that curve is the way that I want it to be. Right now, not so much. I feel like it's going down a little bit too hard. So, I think the way to correct that... Get a slightly bigger brush here. do something like that. It's a small little tweak, but I don't think I need to have that big of one. Oh yeah, there we go. That's looking a little bit better. And then at the base here, this part here is a little bit thicker. So I think I'm gonna make it a little bit thicker here too. Also has kind of a weird shape to it. Don't know how to describe the shape, but it kind of... There's a little bump. Little bump. So I kind of want to capture that little bump a bit too. I'm not actually sure if that's where it is. Where is that little bump on this vertex? Oh, come on. Right there. Okay. So if I put a little bump just right there, that might also help. I keep wanting to make the hair in that area really smooth, but there is a little bump there. And I should not forget about the little bump. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty good. How's it doing over here? Does it line up with the lower right as well? Yes, actually, I think it's doing pretty well. I want to adjust this highlight here. I keep wanting to tweak this tiny little highlight there. Never quite seems satisfied every time I mess with it. Well, I hope you don't have to worry about needles anytime soon. Fortunately, those are not a common occurrence. Okay. I see. Well, sounds like you should just avoid tangerines then. That also seems pretty straightforward. There's plenty of other different kinds of foods that you can eat instead. Alright, time to really go into this bottom part. Get everything good there. The first thing I noticed was that the very bottom strand here was going way out into outer space, so Wanted to fix that first. It looks like it's even lining up with the lower right, which is a plus. There's a point up here where this strand kind of connects to the rest of it. And that's what I'm looking at right now. We have this little angle here. And I'm just figuring out how it connects to the rest of it. I'm not quite sure. So I'm going to try some things. Try it, see what happens. Not quite sure if that's right, but it's closer than how I had it before. So I can tell that I'm moving in the right direction. I do keep wondering what this extra vertex is supposed to be, but I guess I keep using it, so... I just questioned what my past self was thinking when she meshed that. It's definitely a weird little thing there. There's a few areas in the mesh that I keep consistently questioning my past self's decision, and that is definitely one of them. It's just a bit strange, and yeah. I guess it's supposed to be, like, angled like this. How odd. Okay. So it probably means I want something like... this for this area? Will that help me get the shape right? Looks pretty good, yeah. Not quite a mesh consultation, but at least paying attention to how it's been generally moving. I think that looks pretty good. Alright, and with that, it's looking like I'm really starting to wrangle that bottom area. I think it's starting to look pretty good. Don't think I'm entirely satisfied with the angle on this bottom strand here. But other than that, I think it looks pretty good. Just gotta drop this a little bit. And then I think all will be well. Then I'll just clean up the last few bits. I think it mostly looks okay. I've been kind of cleaning it up as I go. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe just a slight angle difference right here. I think it makes sense for it to curve a little bit more at the bottom there, but perhaps that is overdoing it just a little. Being gentle, because I know that I put some spots down there in order to make the strand below it look a little bit better. So I just gotta be careful moving that around like that. I think that looks pretty good. Does it line up well? Might need to adjust this part in the lower right. Let me see, which of these areas should be adjusted? Who does it better? Because I think this looks pretty good. That's going to be tough to beat. Yeah, I definitely think that here looks a little bit better, so I'll go and line up the lower right with this down turn that I just did. I am quite pleased with it. So I'm going to go clean up the last couple of little wrinkly spots. And then go back to making adjustments to the corner. That's always how these little spots work out. Just work on something, get it to a point where I'm kind of satisfied, and then connect it to another point, get it to a point where I'm kind of satisfied, and then see where they don't quite match up. And then go back over. It's a little bit of push and pull there. Alright, looking good. Let's come back over here and see about this area over here. I never know quite what to do with things sometimes. Oh, man. Okay, just feels like weird compression. So let's decompress this a little bit. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit better, actually. Now, the part that I think is still not quite lining up right is underneath again. That's why I keep having to take off the hair for just a second. We get some funny bald spots for a little while. Just so I can try to get some of these things to line up a little bit better. This part doesn't matter at all, but every time I look over here, it just bothers me, so I just want to expand that out just a little bit. Hopefully it makes some of the vertices around here a little bit easier to move. Not quite. I do think it has to be a little bit further to the right, but I think that's closer. It does look better than it did. I also want to adjust up here just a little bit too. It might help a little bit, or it might not, but it looks a little bit better while I'm having to poke at this, so I'll take it. I will take it. Okay, yeah, that's much better. I am quite pleased. Man, it was a bit of a daunting change at first, but I really am glad that I decided to fix the hair on the right side. It's just making everything so much better. Because I know I'm noticing problems in other places, and I'm able to fix those, and it's just all looking very nice. Art is hard, but it's also pretty fantastic. Love being able to just come here every day and make something happen. Alright, let's do a little bit more cleaning up. And then I think there will be good, and I can start trying to figure out the stuff that was bothering me along the diagonal. I just felt like this strand here, the dark shadow, was a little bit wrinkly. And while there's a bump in the original, I think that bump will be covered up by hair now, so I think I actually want to keep this pretty smooth. In theory. We'll see if it checks out. Yeah, so far it seems to be, so just gotta kinda perfect the rest of the area here. I'm trying to pull a little bit more of this underneath the strand there to make it look like her head is turning a little bit more. It's like, in theory, we should see less of this side over here, so I'm trying to shove some of that underneath the strand. Didn't completely work out, but close enough, I think. So I mentioned a few days ago that I finished a picture that I was working on. And I finished making the video for it. I have been trying to learn a little bit more about the program I use to edit, so hopefully I can make cleaner videos with that, but the video is done, so I will be uploading that today. Been looking forward to it. I had a lot of fun with the lighting on this one, so I look forward to being able to show it off. I like doing fun lighting. I really do. It's probably one of my favorite things to draw. Just atmosphere. Cool lighting filters. Heck yeah. Amp the colors up to infinity. It's a good time. And then I get to start another, more long-term picture. Instead of a speed paint, I'll have done in an hour. I do enjoy the speed paints, but they do get a little bit stressful. And sometimes it's a little bit sad seeing that I can't quite get everything that I want done. Gotta make compromises in order to actually be able to finish an entire picture in an hour. Especially for me, who's fairly slow at drawing. Alright, looking good. So I'm not quite happy with the way right here is moving along the diagonal. So that tells me that there's something that's got to be fixed here. Okay, I think I see what it is. Fortunately, it was fairly straightforward. Just more stuff hiding underneath that bang there. Her side hair just tried to cover up all my problems for me, but can't quite do it. It's not big enough. Too many problems to hide. The interpolation between my keyframes says no. No sweeping your problems under the rug this time. Okay, but that's better. Okay, actually, before I go too deep into fixing stuff on this diagonal here, I want to make sure that this little light spot is working well. The surrounding keyframes here. Because I think that little guy can show a surprising amount of 3D-ness. Ah, I see. Fortunately, it looks like I'm also somewhat limited in how I can move it. Which is a little unfortunate. Because I was like, I think I want it a little bit higher. But it looks like I'm reaching the edge of the texture, so gotta be careful. So let's perfect this little spot right there. Get it just right. Alright, I think I might have pushed it a little bit too far. My hands got a little bit too excited. Wanted to create all the 3D effect. Okay, more gently now. More gently. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of pointing towards us now. I think that looks pretty cool. And indeed, I don't think I have anything set on that. Okay, maybe I do. I didn't think that I had any deforms on this one already, but apparently I do, so I'll just go ahead and deform it again manually. No big deal. I think that's easier than trying to find it in my layer list and unset it. It's not exactly a hard layer to move around. I do like the small detail though. I think it looks really good and it makes me happy. As you can see, it's very easy to make me happy. All the little things. It's just fantastic. There we go. Might have to try a few times to get it in just the right spot, but... Oh yeah, that's looking pretty nice. Goes over just a little bit there, and then... Oh yeah. Okay, I'm happy. Now let's see if I can perfect the tunnel itself. I thought I had it pretty good, but, you know, something like this, I think I can do better than pretty good. Let's get it just right. Let's let the perfectionist part of my brain just be so happy today. Get it to be everything I want it to be. Alright, that looks pretty good. Let's see, I don't quite like the angle on the very top of this highlight. I think it just needs to point upward just a little bit there. Doesn't need to be too serious. But it just felt like it was curving down a little bit too strongly. Yeah, that should be a little bit better. And then I think I actually just want to, like, lower this entire thing. Right through here. Alright, yeah, I think that's a bit better. I think it's all working out pretty well here. Now I just have to pay attention to that little spot up top here that I didn't quite like along the diagonal. I don't think it'll be that hard to fix. I think I have a rough idea of the problem even. It was just a small issue there. Just felt like the top part of that was expanding a little bit. Still kind of the same thing. Just gotta get it a little bit narrower right through there. And I think all will be well. I might need to pull it a little further down too, but I'll see. Yeah, actually, I think I have the shadow on this backwards, because we should see a little bit more of the top of her head, so we should actually see a little bit less of this. So if anything, it should be a little bit more like that. That might also be part of what was bothering me. And then when we go to the upward turns, we'll see a little bit more of that shadow. Yeah, that definitely helped. Always nice when things are... The problem is... easy to fix once you identify it. Alright, that seems pretty good. Let me see if I have to make a similar change here. Only a little. It looked like I had realized that correctly for this turn. Let me go ahead and just make that small adjustment there, and I think that'll be good, and I think that might be my lower right turn all redone and lovely. Not quite. I'm determined. I want to finish this lower right turn today. I'm having a good time, so I can keep going. And I slept, so I'm feeling pretty fantastic today. It's amazing how big a difference actually sleeping can make. So yesterday I felt like I couldn't do anything at all, and my eyes were just struggling to keep up. But here, today, I just feel like I'm seeing everything. And everything is okay. I think today will be a good day indeed. Gonna draw me a magic circle and go into a trance for several hours. I've been kind of looking forward to that. I was gonna try to work on it yesterday, but I was just so tired. But I'm kind of looking forward to being able to draw one of those without any time pressure. Because the last couple I've done, let's see, the big one was that I really liked was for Inktober. And then I drew another one for a weekly speed paint recently, and yes, those are both very extreme bits of time pressure. Here, though, with the one I'm about to start, I can take as long as I want. I'm even probably gonna open a new document and just derp around. Might even just post this on its own if I like it enough. Who knows? Alright, looks pretty good, I think. Is there anything on the top of her head that I want to correct here? Just a little bit. It's like 95% good, so... might as well just do a little bit more. Get that last 5% here. I said I was determined to try to finish this area here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and try to get this looking as nice as possible. It's real close, it'll be fine. But I'm gonna have to stop myself from starting something new. Part of me is kind of tempted to just go right into the left turn here today, but I should probably stop. Just having a good time today. It's the way art should be, in my opinion. Oh, didn't mean to click that. See, when you double-click on a layer, the program takes you right to it, and I just misclicked. That reminds me, did I ever fix the strand from hell down here? I don't think I did. So okay, maybe I should go do that real quick, too. After I finish adjusting the top part of the strand from hell on this turn. Alright, looks pretty good. I do think that improved things a little bit there. Got a little crunchy spot right here, so let's go fix that up. And then I'll go adjust the bottom of the strand from hell on the lower right. I had forgotten about it completely, because I was very determined to shove the strand from hell under the rug on the lower right turn. But one little bit peeks out, so I guess I should make it look good too. Oh yeah, look at that. The angle of that highlight changing when her head tilts down I think looks really nice. Oh yeah. I'm easy to please. Alright, looking pretty good. I might take another look at that back spot tomorrow, but for now I think it's pretty good. Let's go take a look at the strand from hell here. Honestly, for the most part, I think it's fine. The little tip of the strand doesn't tend to be that bad at all. I want it to curl a little bit more cutely, though. There we go. Don't actually think there's much I need to fix here. I can tell that the vertices are bunching up, like right there, so I'm gonna just pull everything down a little bit. Is that good? Let's take a look. I think the very tip of it just needs to be a little pointier. Little tippier. Let's check it out. See how that is. Yeah, seems pretty good. I actually don't mind that it's curving just a little bit there because it's resting on her shoulder a little bit, so I think it's actually okay like that. I think it curls nicely there. Yeah. Back hair I think I'll do later. Back hair I might just do a pass at the end. I'm kind of tempted to hide it completely. Doesn't look too bad though. Actually... You know, nah, I changed my mind. Let's do it now. Let's just go. Keep going until they're the way I want them. Might even do the little strand that I've been ignoring. Because I do have a couple that I've just been hiding. Just this one. The other two I will revisit once I clean up the left side, since they are on the left side. Okay, yep, that's pretty good. Didn't have much to do at all. So I think that is where I will start, or... Actually, no. I am gonna do that strand. Just this one. Because now I think I can do something a little bit more sensible with it. And I guess I should probably have her ear on for this, since it does kind of move with the ear. But I think I can do something a little bit more sensible with it now. I almost forgot about it again, which is why I was gonna end. Gonna start with up there. Gotta get the curve on this looking just right, and there's no way that mesh looks like that, so let's try to get these triangles a little bit closer to the same size. Everything got all stretched out and bunched up here. Yeah, there we go. And once again, I just feel like the triangles here probably got a little bit bunched up and squished. So I think it should be fine once I fix those a little bit. Let's get that a little bit smoother there. There we go. That's a nicer little curve there. Let's see if I put it in the right spot. Yep, seems pretty good. And indeed, I think that is fine. It might... Yeah, I got a little bit crunched up. So I'll need to straighten it out, but I think the way it's moving is otherwise okay. And then I think this part needs to come just very, very slightly to the right. And there we go. Okay. And indeed, I will fix the other strands once I fix the left side. So I do think that it actually is where I will stop for today, for real this time. So thank you all for coming, and I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I'll see you all tomorrow.